Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. We have another interesting case study to talk about. This one involves a kababayan galing pong Pilipinas. But for this episode, we will keep his identity anonymous. Ano? Ang gusto lang naman natin, malaman yung kanyang naging experience para meron tayong matutunan, maliwanagan sa realities of applying for PR if you are undocumented. Yan po ang kanyang storya, no? Sige, I will put up the federal court decision which was published last year, July 2025. Ito ang summary ng kanyang sitwasyon. Dumating po siya sa Canada as a tourist in 2013 and ever since then, okay, he lived and worked in Canada unlawfully for the past 12 years. Ang sabi po niya, meron daw po kasi siyang ahente or consultant o ano man, agent ang nakasulat dito, na nagsabi sa kanyang, pagdating mo ng Canada, makakapagtrabaho ka. Okay? Yun po ang kanyang storya. He says his agent misrepresented that he could work after arriving in Canada and that he found out after his arrival that it is untrue, pero nag-decide siya to stay anyway. And eventually, ito na nga po, no? Ito yung pag-uusapan natin. Nag-apply siya for permanent resident status on humanitarian and compassionate grounds. Ang isa po sa kanyang main grounds, no? Na sana daw ikonsidera ng IRCC yung best interest of his child, yung kanyang minor son, 15 years old, na sinusuportahan niya sa Pilipinas. Pero meron pa rin po siyang mga iba pang anak, pero mga adults na yata, no? According to this court decision. And then may family, may mommy pa siya na kanyang sinusuportahan din in the Philippines. Okay? So sabi dito nga, ang kanyang application based dun sa BIOC, Best Interest of the Child, at yung hardship on his mother and 3 daughters who live in the Philippines and to whom he has been remitting some $2,600 a month. Okay? And then, of course, sinight rin niya yung matagal na po niyang paninirahan dito. Kumbaga, yun yung sinasabi niyang establishment here in Canada. Also, meron siyang sinasabi na magiging paghihirap niya kung bumalik siya sa Pilipinas dahil sa climate change daw. Okay, sabi dito, he also claimed establishment and hardship such as climate change in the Philippines on his return. Okay. Sasabihin ko na sa inyo ang naging decision ni Judge ng court decision na ito. His petition is dismissed. Ang nangyari po pala kasi, no, hindi ito yung una niyang application for PR based on HNC. Nagkaroon po siya ng isang application, similar application, noong 2022, ni-refuse. Nag-file po siya ng pangalawa noong June 2023, refused ulit. But it was reopened for redetermination. Okay? So in short, nakailang try na siya. Sige, puntahan natin ang mas detalyado niyang storya. Alright. Again, he entered Canada on a tourist visa. Nakuha daw niya from an agency na binayaran pa niya ng $10,000 na inutang pa raw niya from the bank. Okay? He says this agency told him he could work in Canada on this visa and found out that this was not true after arriving. Personally, no, medyo nagdududa rin agad ako dun because I would assume he knew he was coming in as a tourist. Napakadali po yatang malaman, ano, bago ko palang umalis kung yun ba ng status na yan bilang turista, merong authorization to work, no? Meron pa siyang binanggit. Bago daw siya dumating noong 2013, nag-try na rin daw siyang dumating dito or pumunta dito sa Canada noong 2011 from a different agency, pero na-scam din daw siya ng $2,300. Okay. So anyway, yun na nga guys, no? Kahit alam niya nang hindi pala siya pwede mag-work, nag-stay pa rin siya dito in Canada. And now, after being undocumented for more than a decade, he is now expressing remorse. Nakasulat dito. The applicant now expresses remorse for living and working in Canada without authorization for more than a decade. But he felt he had no choice but to do so because he only realized his lack of status after he arrived. According to the judge, ito, galing na to kay judge, I say that at the outset, This makes no sense. I'm reading it verbatim, ah. Knowing what he was doing was wrong, he should have left and applied from outside Canada and waited, as so many thousands of others do, for his case to be decided on its merits or by lottery or as might be determined by the minister. Okay? Mismong si Judge nagduda na agad dun sa kanyang sinasabi na hindi niya alam na hindi pala po pwede yun magtrabaho kapag siya ay pumasok dito as a tourist, dito na lang daw niya nalaman. Ang sitwasyon daw po pala kasi ni applicant ay, so meron siyang asawa, 3 adult daughters, although some are still studying, and then 1 minor child na nasa Pilipinas. He earns good money in Canada. Ang pinapadala daw, okay, for the family, $1,600 per month. At malaking chunk daw po dyan na pupunta sa tuition nung anak. Okay? Yung 15-year-old child goes to private school. So yung tuition, kasama sa budget, food and clothing, and his wife's bills. Tapos meron pang another $2,000 every 2 months na pinapadala rin daw sa kanyang nanay. Okay? Para sa gamot daw ng kanyang nanay. Ang kanyang misis at eldest daughter, sabi dito, nagtatrabaho naman daw sa Pilipinas. Or rather, may trabaho, yun nga lang, approximately $400 per month ang kanilang earnings. His other children are still in school. Ayun na nga, naka-private school yung 15 years old. Yung 15-year-old son may letter of support na naka-attach dito sa kanyang HNC application. Siguro doon sa letter of support from the son, pinaparating doon na talagang malaki ang halaga ng suporta na kanyang pinapadala to sustain his schooling and other needs. Okay? His application also mentioned why they decided to keep his child in private school. Ang sabi, they wanted to keep him from getting involved in drugs and illegal drugs. To cut the long story short, ito pong si Judge sa federal court decision na ito ay sinabing tama naman po ang naging desisyon ng IRCC na i-refuse pa rin ang kanyang application. Puntahan natin yung mga points raised by the assessing IRCC officer. Very detailed, sa totoo lang, yung notes ni officer. Una, okay, sinagot ni officer yung sinasabi din ni applicant na more than 10 years na siya dito, well-adapted na raw to Canadian life. So that is to say na well-established na siya dito. No? Isa po yan sa madalas na sinasite na mga dahilan kung bakit sana mapagbigyan ang isang PR application based on HNC. Pero merong sinite si officer doon sa kanyang decision na isang previous ruling kung saan sinabi doon na hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon ay dapat binibigyang halaga yung length of being undocumented here as a big factor to determine kung dapat i-approve yung PR application. This is a portion of the decision cited, okay, by the officer. The applicants cannot expect to profit from the years they lived and worked here illegally. Spending more time underground does not entitle those here illegally to achieve greater success on an HNC application. Hindi ibig sabihin na the longer you are here, mas maganda ang establishment mo at magkakaroon ka ng greater success nga sa inyong application. Sabi, allowing this argument to succeed would just encourage those here unlawfully to remain without regularizing their status, such that the longer they delay, the better they are positioned in terms of HNC relief. May point naman, baka maging ehemplo yan sa iba pag malaman nila na, ganun pala ang system, basta mas matagal kang undocumented dito, mas malaki ang chance mo na ma-approve for HNC. So, yun ang sinasabi dito. So, no, allowing the applicants argument could encourage some not yet in Canada to arrive and go underground. And the longer the better, as occurred here. Those who disrespect and refuse Canadian laws cannot, by their misconduct, become better placed than those who respect Canadian immigration laws and processes. Okay, so that's for the issue of establishment. Puntahan natin yung issue ng suporta para dun sa anak, Okay, sabi ni officer, kinonsider naman niya at naiintindihan niya na malaki talaga yung tulong na naibibigay ng tatay to sustain the needs of the child. Okay, sabi niya, ito yung notes ni officer while the applicant will likely earn more money in Canada, I point out that an HNC application is not meant to make up for differences in country conditions. Okay, una, pinoint out niya, the applicant himself was able to obtain raw a post-secondary education without the benefit of remittances from abroad, okay, as an accountant. And his wife also works, as he stated. Tapos, yung mga iba pang anak daw are adults, and now there is little reason why they could not contribute to their own financial situation. So, sinasabi hindi naman parang totally maghihirap. Meron silang paraan to financially survive dahil nakakapagtrabaho naman yung ibang members of the family. Stinrest din ni officer, no? Kailangan mag-demonstrate talaga ng special circumstances to be permitted to apply from within Canada for permanent residence. Ito, naka-underline pa. There are many people who are waiting in their countries for their applications to be processed as required by the immigration laws of Canada. I do not find, sabi ni officer, that his situation is substantially different from others who would like to come to this country to earn a better income than what they can in their home countries. Meron ding mention tungkol dun sa pagpapaaral sa private school. Ito yung decision ni officer I recognize that the applicant wants to provide his son with financial stability and worries about his teenage son taking a path of drug use and partying. It is a sentiment that many parents have. Nare-recognize din daw niya na gusto niya siguro makakuha ng magandang edukasyon yung kanyang anak, kaya sinend sa private school. And I accept, sabi niya, that the child may benefit materially from his father being allowed to remain in Canada para nga masuportahan siya sa ganong buhay. Pero, ito ang sabi, nakikita rin daw niya that it is usually in the best interest of the child na magkasama sa isang lugar ang kanyang mga magulang. Okay? Sabi dito, it is in the child's best interest to be close to both parents. Further, I find at times there are less tangible but equally important benefits to having his father physically close to him at a pivotal time in his life. Okay? Yung sending his son to private school is a choice that the family makes at pinoint out pa ni officer. According daw sa US Department of State report noong 2022, meron namang libreng edukasyon up to 18 years of age in the Philippines. Ayun, no? Education is free and compulsory daw through age 18 in the Philippines. So I think he is referring to the public school system na magiging accessible pa rin naman daw doon sa 15-year-old son. Although aminado rin sa officer, nakasulat dito, the quality daw was often poor, especially in rural areas. Ang sinasite niya, again guys yung US Department of State report. And then the officer goes on to say, whether the applicant stays here in Canada or goes back to the Philippines, the child would still have access to an education and other needs, except that in the Philippines, he would also be physically together with his father. Parang sinasabi niya, win-win. Meron pa rin namang magiging access sa education kahit na maaaring mas lumiit ang kanyang kita doon. Tapos kasama pa si daddy in the Philippines. Okay? And then, let's go to the applicant side, no? May 3 main points siya in disputing itong mga naging desisyon at sinabi ni assessing officer. Ang sabi niya, the standard of review is reasonableness. Okay? So, sinistress na dapat maging reasonable itong si officer. Sabi din niya, the officer is insufficiently alert, alive, and sensitive to the best interest of the child. And the officer's assessment of hardship daw is unreasonable. Napakarami pong mga sinasahit na other cases ni judge in coming up with his decision. But again, as I mentioned earlier, the judge in this ruling sided with the officer. Ang sabi nga niya, the decision is intelligible, transparent, and justified. And therefore, this application for judicial review will be dismissed. Okay, so that is what happened to our kababayan. What we do not know is, of course, ano na kaya ang nangyari sa kanya. If, who knows, baka nag-try na naman siya, no? To file a new application for PR. Di po natin alam. But at least in this one, denied pa rin po ang kanyang appeal. Do you think his situation or this decision would have changed? Kunyari, dumating siya dito on temporary resident permit or like a work permit, nakapagtrabaho ng ilang taon, and then for some reason na fall out of status siya and then naging undocumented. Maaari, no? Maaaring mag-iba ang desisyon. Ang opinion ko dito, no, siguro talagang malaking pagkakamali kasi na dumating siya. Umpisa pa lang, visitor na at nagtrabaho na siya agad. Okay, hindi niya nakumbinse, in short din si Judge, na hindi mo alam yon na hindi ka pwede magtrabaho and then tinuloy mo pa rin for such a long time, no? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll end this episode here. See you guys in the next one. Bye!